Hey guys, it's Brandon here, coming at you with an update on the all the tanks except for the 14 gallon. So yeah, let's get started. So as you can see, got the fry in here. They're doing pretty good. There's one right there, growing up pretty well. There's one in that shell in the back. You can kind of see him. You can see him back there. Then the other ones are kind of scattered throughout. There's one on top of that shell right at my fingertip, and then there's another one over there. So I have 5 total in here. Got that nice piece of Java Fern mat, which is looking real nice. It's getting pushed by the filter, so it looks a little bare in the middle, but if you fix it right, it looks good. It's a little crappy looking right now, but I just kind of have to screw around with it to get it to look nice. Anubias doing pretty good. Getting some algae and crap on the leaves, but that's expected, especially with something like Anubias. My little Java Fern mountain is growing well, looking good. Starting to fill in a little bit, which is nice. This little Anacris right here is starting to grow up. Same with this stuff right in the back. Also, that dwarf sage is doing pretty well. This Java Fern looking good. Same with the Anacris. I mean, all the plants are doing real good. This dwarf sage right here, doing excellent. Didn't know if it would grow that well, but it's actually growing really well. And then I have some more in the center right there. So, yeah, this tank's doing good. I mean, I'm just kind of waiting on the fish to grow up, I guess you could say. But it's kind of interesting seeing them, get bigger. And I mean, they're not really growing bigger because I've had them less than a week, so I can't really see a total change in how they their size, I guess you could say. But what I've been feeding is Hikari First Bites, and this does pretty nice. It's in this nice powder, which works really well. And then I also got some Omega 1 cichlid flakes, which are made with fresh seafood. So these guys are nice. I actually took them right here and I crushed them up into put them in a plastic bag and crushed them up into it's basically a powder. So I've been feeding a little bit. They like the First Bites better though. Well, just because this is a little bit bigger for them than just the regular powder grain. So yeah, that's the tank though. Moving on. 5 gallon Winston's tank, doing good. Winston's doing real good. Really happy. He's alone in this tank. I never put the emerald cories back, and I probably won't, just because I think it's a little too small for 2 emerald cories and the beta. Also, he doesn't really like them. He's kind of aggressive to them, so I don't really want to put him in there and then have him chase after them and stress them out or anything. So yeah, this tank's doing good. Pretty good growth on the plants. Can't wait for this dwarf sage to start sending out runners and filling in. This wisteria is looking real nice. Really lush growth there. Rotella doing pretty good. A little bit of algae, not too bad. This little sword right here is growing up to be a nice fat plant right there. Look at that. I mean, it's got like a ton of little roots now coming out of it. When all the roots died off, you can see all those roots that died off, but then now it's starting up again. Got a couple strands of Rotella up here and right there and right here. This Rotella's going crazy right over in this area. The Copa in the background, doing good. There's a little close-up of Winston for you guys. Anacris, the thing with Anacris is sometimes it'll do this, especially in a dirty tank or newly dirty tank. It'll die off like that, but then you can see that's Anacris. I mean, so it looks real nice and wash and green, and that one is, but I just cut that down and put it right there. So I mean, some of it may die off, but you'll usually have good growth like that. That's what you want to look for. Moneywort growing up nice. Same with the Rotella in the background. Have a little bit of Rotella floating up just to get their roots growing, and I have to replant those But yeah, so that tank's going in. Really just kind of waiting for it to fill in, you know. It's going well though, so yeah, it's looking pretty nice. I mean, I like it. I don't know if I really love the way that Driftwood's just in the center. So eventually I have another escape plan for this tank, which looks really well, but it involves me, you know, having to get more plants and stuff, so it's not really a viable option right now. So I'm gonna have to wait, like maybe in the summer I'll do that or something, but it won't be that soon. This tank is just not doing that well. Zeus is doing fine. He's in there. Sorry about the glare. But it just kind of gets a ton of algae. Part of it maybe because of the window right there. But, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like, it has a ton of algae, so. And then, you know, I mean, took out a lot of dwarf sedge. I took out this dwarf sedge. I took a bunch of dwarf sedge, put some in here, put some in the 6-gallon, and put some in the 15. So, I mean, I kind of took out a ton of dwarf sedge, but it is growing back. I mean, that's the thing I like about this plant. So I have this guy, I have that guy sprouting up right there, and then I have this one, and then a runner in the back sprouting up, and then another runner right there sprouting up. And then I've just got some wisteria, couple pieces of java fern, banana plant, and some rotella. So yeah, I mean, I just got to get a plan for this tank. So if anybody has a good escape plan, because it's kind of a hex tank, so it's kind of hard to plan out. I was drawing some scapes earlier, but I don't know. I was thinking maybe like having rocks coming down this side or this side, and maybe maybe even have it coming down both sides, and then have like a valley in the middle, and then have like dwarf sedge, like in the valley on the shore on the valley of like picture like rocks coming down, and then like rotella and wisteria in the back of the rocks, or like mondo grass coming out, and then having dwarf sedge like lining the valley on the insides on the foreground. So I mean, I think that would look nice. I'm not really sure, but this is one of those tanks where I kind of just have to see where it's gonna go. You know, I kind of just have to wait, because whenever you're doing a tank, you want to have a plan. So you know, you don't want to just jump and redo it, and then like 10 days later you don't like how it looks. You want to have a plan, and you want to have it planned out well. So yeah, if any of you guys could give me some ideas on that. I definitely want to use the dwarf sedge as a foreground plan or something, because I just like how dwarf sedge looks, and it grows real well in this tank. The other plants I could get rid of. Typically, I'd like to stick to these plants that I have in here in the 6-gallon. Just plants that I already have instead of ordering new ones. But I don't know if anybody can think of a good escape that I could do. I mean, I'm still going to wait a couple weeks, so I mean, I'll be able to use some of this wisteria and some of this nice rotella. And I can go out and buy some more plants, just not a ton. So yeah, those are those tanks. Next tank, 6-gallon, looking real nice. Put in my Corydoras catfish Larry right there. He's a spotted Cory, doing really well. I mean, I'm really liking the way this tank looks now that it's rescaped, and it's just a lot better. As you can see, Samson showing a little bit of aggression right there. He's actually really good with these guys, though. I've never actually seen him do that. But as you can see, he was just picking on the Amano shrimp that I put in here. But they're fine, you know. It's kind of weird. He usually doesn't do that to them, but especially not the Cory. He actually probably bothers the Amano shrimp more than the Cory, which is kind of weird, but he's fine with them. He's not very aggressive to them. So as far as this tank goes, as you can see, I did do the rescape. I did a video on that, so you can check that out. Just waiting for this camera to focus. But I did do a rescape, and it looks really nice. Got little Wigia repens up here, which is growing pretty well, doing good. I added some dwarf sedge up here, so I'm waiting for that to kind of take over and make a little carpet right there, and make a carpet on the front. And then once this Anacris grows up, which, look at that, especially in like Eco-Complete, like this is dirt, clay, Eco-Complete. The Eco-Complete cap's a little thick. I mean, the dirt stops like right there, so it's a little too thick. But I think what happened is the Eco Complete kind of got compressed and it pressed down on the dirt, because when I did it like 50-50. Sage-Me Chainsaw right there. Just wisteria. I might make this side kind of a wisteria carpet and just keep it low, and then this middle I want to do dwarf hairgrass. I want to get a nice carpet of that, and I don't know if that's going to be able to happen because dwarf hairgrass is kind of a high-tech plant. Plant. I mean, it's basically a high-tech plant, but I mean, I think I should be able to get it to grow in here because I have good substrate. I have decent lighting, especially seeing as I had the window right there, but I'm going to do it-yourself CO2 in here. I've kind of decided that I am going to do that. It might take a little time before I get it set up, but it's going to happen eventually. So I hope that'll give that a boost and help it, start sending out runners and just get this whole area kind of filled with that. All the other plants are doing real well. Rotella in the background. See, the cool thing about this Rotella is you can see that it gets a lot of light from outside because it's tilted. You can see that it's tilted to the Samson one to get in the video. It's tilted towards the window or the sunlight. So yeah, as you can see, it's not facing forward, it's facing backwards the other way. So it's probably getting more light from the sun than this bulb. I did a little filter baffle on it just to help limit the current. It's going pretty well though. The bio wheel was stopping, but now I've got it to be going again. Going rather slow, but not horrible. So the bio wheel's over in here, this compartment, right up there. And then as far as lighting goes, this is a 12-inch T5 8-watt fixture. So I mean, it's decent. I think it's a pretty good bulb. I just don't know if it's that powerful because it doesn't put out a ton of light in this tank. Not really a bad light, but not necessarily great. So yeah, and my other plan, what I want to do with this is take this, take that wisteria and throw it over here. Let that kind of grow up, get nice and bushy at the top, because it's kind of a little bare right there, especially in the middle. But for the middle, I think this Anacris will grow up, because that's already growing nice, and that'll grow up and kind of block that. Then I can keep it at that height and keep trimming it and putting it in other tanks and stuff. But just to get it bushy, you hide the heater. And then one thing that I'm having an issue with is this Anubias. I don't know what's up with it, but as you can see, that's what the leaves are starting to look like. They're dying off and getting these brown spots. And this side is doing good. So I don't know if it could be like that this part is buried kind of in that stuff in the roots, because I got this like pre-done. I didn't do it myself. It was like already attached to the driftwood, and they had like rock wool in the hole. So see how like this plant right here is not really buried in the substrate, while this stuff is buried in that mineral wool crap. So I don't know if that could have something to do with it, but I'll probably get another piece of Anubias for this tank. Gotta get more Java Fern. Honestly, what I'm thinking is I could get Java Moss and just have it kind of grow over this driftwood, and then have Java Fern branching off and the Anubias, and it would just be like a totally planted piece of driftwood. So yeah, everything's doing good though. I mean, one other thing, losing track. So this would be over here, and then this would be empty. But what I want to do right here is get narrow leaf Anacris. It was actually really cool. I saw it at my Petco. Actually, not Petco, just a local fish store that I finally went to. I've been wanting to go to it for a while, and it's really not that far away. And it was really awesome. They had a large selection of plants and a huge selection of fish. So they had a narrow leaf Anacris, and it was such a bright green. Like, this is nice and dark green, but it's such this bright green, and it looks really cool. So I think that would give it some good contrast right there. I think it would look nice. It's kind of like this color, I guess you could say. This like greenish color, but it looks pretty cool. So that's what I want to get for that tank, and have the CO2 running, doing some good on there. one more thing is right here. If you haven't seen Kashi's video, or Keith, it's Kashi76 is the YouTube channel name, and he does all these bowlscapes, which is really cool. They're not really like, he doesn't usually use this type of bowl, but other types like cylinder shaped bowls. You'll know what I'm talking about when you go to him. But he dirts them, he puts clay in them, and he does a ton of cool little bowlscapes. And you know, he'll use like rocks. Like these are just some pretty cool rocks that I have. So I'll just go out and boil some rocks, get some rocks outside, boil them and use them. And they won't have any fish in them, but they'll have plants. So they'll be like little planted bulbs. I probably won't use this light. I mean, I could, but I don't know if that would even work. But I have a CFL light right there in that box that I could use, so no problem right there. If you didn't know, this is my other beta. He's the one I don't have in a tank. Sorry about this bad focus. There we go. But as you can see, I mean, they don't do that well in bowls. He's putting on a show for the camera right now, but as you can see, his fins are pretty short and clamped, and he's not that active. He doesn't have a lot of space to go, so don't keep your betas in bowls. I have to kind of keep this guy in a bowl. I don't really have another tank for him, so he kind of has to live in here, but I mean, it's not really good. Please get your betas a tank. I mean, you take that beta, and then you take like Winston or Samson, who are just really happy, and they just have a ton of room to swim around and explore and stuff like that. So one last thing before I go, as far as this goes, you can see this, and you're probably wondering what the hell is this? Well, I've got this is a brine shrimp hatchery, because I was wondering if I can feed the fried brine shrimp, so I made this little base. Then I have this in it, and I was going to have an air line coming up here attached and keeping those brine shrimp eggs in motion. And then, you know, I just have a crappy little, small little air pump, which will probably do the trick. I have a couple of these air pumps and just other ones. These are from like this $10 Walmart 1-gallon kit, and they come with this air pump. So I have like 2 or 3 of those, but then I have other ones too. Just drop the air pump, but I have a couple of other air pumps that I could use too. So yeah, just please comment, rate, subscribe, tell me what you think about the tanks. Please tell me what your guys' ideas on the 5. I really need some help on that. So yeah, somebody asked me to do a video on my filtration, so I'm gonna do that next. So yeah, see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.